Hi, and welcome to a brand new demo video around PowerStore Metro and a very cool feature that was recently added. In future blog posts, I will be looking at Metro in a more detailed way, like what it can do, what it cannot do, how you architect it, do's and don'ts. For now, I didn't want to stop this news from getting to you about this cool new feature. So let's just dive into PowerStore Metro and what it looks like today and, actually after yesterday. So first, let's look at the environment. I have two PowerStores here. You can see two different lower number, higher number, left data center, right data center. These two are actually set up to deliver some storage. And if you look at the volumes, you can see that I've got a local volume and then I've got two Metro volumes. One Metro volume is preferred on data center A, the other on data center B. And in future blog posts specifically, we'll see why that matters. Of course, the other one is also in the Metro config. So if I look at Metro, you can see that both are operating normally. When I look at this, for example, so this volume, you can see that it's preferred on data center A. So it's preferred left, as you might say, right? The other side is non-preferred. I could do it the other way around as well, and that's where the second volume comes in. This one, you can see here that the right data center is preferred, so it's preferred right. Why preference matters will become clear as soon as you fail something, right? Because in this scenario, we have got two PowerStores. They are both doing Metro. So what happens if I cut the link? What would happen if one of the data centers would fail, right? And the PowerStore would fail. Because they have no other way to talk to each other than through the link, it will be impossible for them to determine what will happen. So the default behavior is that the preferred side survives. The non-preferred side is basically made read-only to avoid split-brain scenarios. So when we look at this in vCenter, so I've got a vCenter set up here, and you can see that there's a Metro data center, there's a Metro cluster, it's got 6 nodes in them. The first 3 nodes belong to data center A, the other 3 to data center B, there's a test VM here. And then I have a remote data center where I run my management stuff, like the vCenter and all those things. So when we look at this cluster and we look at the way it's configured, you can see that I've created hosts group, so a host group that belongs to data center A. And there we go, slightly better. So you can see that I've made a host group for hosts in data center A, hosts in data center B. You can see that these are 30, 31, 32, and here I have 34, 35, 36, which are, 33, which are the DCA hosts and the DCB hosts. And then I have 2 rules for virtual machines that should run in DCA and should run in DCB. Now, the reason for having that is I want to make sure that a workload that runs on a preferred left data store always runs left, right? So the virtual machines should run in the appropriate data centers. That's why I said should run on, because if all of the hosts fail in one of the data centers, since it's stretched, VMware has no knowledge, just sees that half of the nodes are gone, will try to restart them elsewhere. So whenever there's a restart, it will always try to pin the virtual machines to the correct data center. If that fails, it will start them in the remaining data center, right? In the other. That's why it shouldn't be must run on, but it should be a should run on rule. Now, as you can imagine, so as this stuff is running, we can survive different failure scenarios. But like I said, when I look at this, and in this case, we're looking at a volume that is preferred on the right data center. So data center B is preferred right. So if this PowerStore would die, or the entire data center would die, or the link would die, then everything that sits on the preferred side would survive. Everything non-preferred, of course, would be gone, which is fine. So that works, right? As long as I manage to keep all of my VMs that were preferred right actually on this data store, they would survive a failure. Of course, that wouldn't work the other way around, right? So imagine that the preferred site would have an issue. Now, this non-preferred site would go into read-only because it has no way of telling what happened. So if the link was broken, you should go to read-only. If data center B is gone, you could actually, as the non-preferred site, you could assume read-write IOs and you could survive. The problem is that this one has no way of knowing what happened to this one, right? Is it still up? Is there just a link in between? Is that the thing that's gone? Is this thing gone as a whole? It's unable to determine that, and that's where more failure scenarios creep in that would have serious impact on your production, right? Yes, designing it the right way, so keeping your VMs pinned to the correct data center would definitely help, but you would still have an impact when you failed until yesterday, right? Because as of PowerStore 3.6, there's a new feature added. And if you look at protection, apart from Metro, you now see this, a Metro Witness. Wow, so now we have witness support. That is very cool. So I'm really enthusiastic about this because now finally, using the witness, both of the PowerStores can always talk to the witness, and the witness can say, well, I can see that you're both still alive, so it's got to be an interlink failure. So now non-preferred should go to read-only. Or the other way around, right? Both start talking to the witness, or one starts talking to the witness and says, and the witness then replies, well, I can't see the other side. So it seems that PowerStore has actually failed. So yes, now you are allowed to resume IO even on the non-preferred volumes. And that is a very important feature that we're gaining, right? So now, whether there's a failure on the non-preferred side, a failure on the preferred side of any kind, we can allow the non-preferred side to resume IO there as the single surviving site. How do you know? Well, the witness will tell you. So the next thing is, how do I actually add a witness? And it's remarkably easy, right? I just spun up a Linux machine in the third data center, which I called PowerStore Witness, really original. And basically all that I need to do to this environment is download the actual witness, there it is, and then say, well, just install the witness. There we go. And it's done. So systemctl status for this thing. No, not this thing. There we go. It's active, it's running. Seems like we're good to go. Okay, so I'm just going to go in here and add the Metro Witness. And I'm going to call it the PowerStore Witness. I'm gotta give it the IP address of the actual machine, and then I need to provide with a security token. So if you look here, it will tell you, yeah, you need to generate that on the actual witness. So basically, all you need to do is you go to the installed version /opt Dell Witness Service scripts, and then from there you can say generate me a token. There you go. Now we have the token. Just copy that, paste it in there, and add user authorization, blah, 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 thumbprint, confirm. There we go, creating a witness. So it takes a few seconds. Of course, the witness has to be created, and then of course, the witness has to verify that it can actually reach both of the PowerStores. It needs to reach out to the other PowerStore as well and make sure it all works before you actually see it show up here. Oh, there we go. It's got some trouble with the resources. We don't really care for the lab environment anyway. So as you can see, that's all it takes to install the witness. And now we've got a witness running full blown. So whenever we now have an issue, and here on this LUN, this site goes down, we can talk with the witness. The witness can decide that, yes, this one is gone. So even though you are the non-preferred site, you are allowed to resume IO and you can survive the failure, right? The vSphere cluster on top is stretched anyway. So it doesn't, well, it understands sidedness because we told it to, but it really doesn't, right? So whatever resources is left, it will try to restart those And now it will, even though it's non-preferred volumes, it will still work. So that concludes the demo for today. I hope you enjoyed it and stay tuned for more Metro stuff soon. Bye bye.